Early life of Samson. Dauda. Birth and family background. Samson Dauda was born on March 11, 1986, in Lagos, Nigeria, one of Africa's most vibrant and densely populated cities. Lagos in the 1980s was a place of intense energy, economically ambitious, culturally rich, and socially dynamic. Growing up in such an environment shaped the foundation of his personality, resilience, ambition, and adaptability. Nigeria in the 1980s was navigating economic challenges and political instability, yet family structures remained strong and community-driven. Like many Nigerian households, values such as discipline, respect for elders, hard work, and perseverance were emphasized from childhood. These early influences would later become defining characteristics of Samson's mindset as an athlete. Although detailed public records about his parents remain private, it is well known that his upbringing emphasized structure and responsibility. In many Nigerian families, especially in Lagos, children are expected to contribute to household discipline and academic focus from a young age. This cultural environment instills accountability, something that later translated directly into his training discipline. Childhood in Lagos. Nigeria. Growing up in Lagos meant exposure to competitive school environments, outdoor physical play, strong peer culture, community-oriented living. As a young boy, Samson was naturally athletic. Even before structured sports training, many Nigerian children develop physical strength and coordination through informal games, football, soccer, running, jumping, and neighborhood competitions. Physical activity wasn't optional. It was part of daily life. He was reportedly larger than many of his peers even as a child. Height and frame often become noticeable early in genetically gifted athletes, and Samson's build suggested physical potential long before formal training began. However, at this stage, bodybuilding was not part of his life. His interests were centered around typical youth sports and academics. Relocation to the United Kingdom. One of the most defining turning points in Samson Dauda's early life was his relocation to the United Kingdom during his teenage years. Moving from Nigeria to the UK is a massive cultural shift. Climate change, tropical heat, colder European weather, education system differences, social adaptation challenges, accent and language adjustments, cultural integration pressure. Estonage relocation is particularly formative. Adolescence is already a time of identity development. Moving countries during this stage often builds emotional toughness and adaptability. For Samson, this move likely strengthened mental resilience, social adaptability, cultural awareness, competitive drive. Many immigrant athletes develop a strong desire to prove themselves in new environments. That competitive hunger often becomes a lifelong trait. High school years. In the Actoring High School in the UK, Samson began discovering structured sports at a deeper level. Physical development. Teenage years are when testosterone increases significantly, muscle growth accelerates, height stabilizes, athletic potential becomes visible. Samson's tall frame and natural muscularity made him stand out. Coaches and peers would have noticed his size advantage early on. Introduction to rugby. Before bodybuilding, his primary sport was rugby. Rugby in the UK is a physically demanding sport requiring strength, explosive power, endurance, aggression, team discipline. His body type was perfect for rugby. The sport helped him develop lower body strength, core stability, shoulder power, tactical discipline, competitive aggression. Rugby players often follow structured strength programs. This may have been his first introduction to resistance training. Squats, bench press, deadlifts, not for aesthetics, but performance. That initial exposure to weights planted the seed. Academic life. While public details about his exact high school are limited, typical UK secondary education includes GCSE examinations, structured academic assessments, career planning pathways. Balancing sports and academics requires time management, another early skill that would later help him juggle intense bodybuilding prep cycles, college, early adulthood, and like some professional athletes who attend elite sports universities, Samson's early adult life appears more grounded and practical. Focus on work and physical training. In his late teens and early 20s, he shifted from rugby toward gym training more seriously. This transition did not happen overnight. Often the path looks like this. Rugby strength training increased interest in gym aesthetics, personal experimentation with hypertrophy, realization of exceptional muscle growth response. At some point, He recognized he wasn't just getting fit, he was building muscle at an extraordinary rate. The shift toward bodybuilding requires a very different mindset than team sports. Individual accountability, precision nutrition, strict meal timing, progressive overload tracking, long-term vision. His early adult years were critical in building discipline, diet control, sleep structure, consistencies are habits often learned before fame, not after. Early gym. Yes, in the early 2000s, bodybuilding culture was influenced by legends like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Dorian Yates, a UK resident. Dorian Yates would have been a particularly strong influence. Yates was known for intensity, mass structured training, philosophizations, frame aligned more with the mass, monster era of bodybuilding rather than the smaller aesthetic divisions, psychological development during college. Agethe period between 18 to 25 years old shapes identity for Samson. This period involved committing to gym life, understanding nutrition science, learning recovery science, accepting long-term sacrifice. But Bingland is expensive and time-intensive. Early competitors often work regular jobs while training. That grind builds character. Social life and personal growth. Early adulthood likely required balancing work, training, relationships, financial stability. Later in life, his wife became deeply involved in his training and coaching, a partnership that strengthened his competitive success. But before that stage, he built foundational habits independently, from amateur to professional pathway. Although your question focuses on early life, it's important to connect the dots. He began competing around 2014, earned IFBB pro status in 2017, slowly climbed the ranks. Those competitive years were built on the discipline developed in high school and early adulthood, cultural identity and motivation. Being Nigerian-born and UK-raised gave him a dual identity, African resilience, British sporting structure. This combination shaped his mindset. Immigrant athletes often carry pride in heritage, desire to represent both nations, strong work ethic. Later in his career, he would become one of the most prominent Nigerian-born bodybuilders in history. Physical attributes developed by the time he fully committed to bodybuilding. He already had broad clavicles, thick muscle bellies, strong quads, massive framathes are genetic gifts. But genetics alone do nothing without discipline. His early years built the discipline. Summary of his early life. Samson Dauda's early life can be understood in phases. 1. Lagos childhood, community values, physical activity, resilience. 2. UK teenage, transitooncultural adaptation, rugby training, structured academics. 3. Late teens, early 20s, gym discovery, muscle growth, realization, shift toward bodybuilding. 4. Foundation building, discipline, diet control, progressive overload, long-term vision. The power behind the physique. Behind nearly every elite bodybuilder is not just discipline, genetics, and ambition, but support. In the case of Samson Dauda, much of that support has come from his wife, Marlena Gustowska. Their partnership is widely regarded as one of the strongest in modern professional bodybuilding. Who is Marlena Gustowska? Marlena Gustowska is not just the wife of a bodybuilder, she is a fitness enthusiast, a coach, a strategist, a prep manager, a competition day organizer, a mental support system in elite bodybuilding. The spouse often plays multiple roles: nutrition coordinator, emotional stabilizer, scheduler, and even critic. Marlena has embodied all of these roles. How they met and built a partnership, while exact personal details remain private. What is publicly clear is that their relationship was built around shared interest in fitness, mutual respect, long-term vision, discipline. Bodybuilding relationships are unique. The sport demands strict meal timing, low social freedom during prep, emotional strain from dieting, financial investment, travel for competitions. Note: every relationship survives this pressure. Their relationship didn't just survive, it strengthened. Who motivated Samson to start the gym? Before marriage, before Olympia, before fame, there was curiosity. Samson did not initially start training because of fame or trophies. His first exposure to weight training came through rugby training in the UK. Strength training was part of athletic performance. However, motivation evolved over time. Early motivation factors: athletic performance, rugby required strength. Physical development: he noticed exceptional muscle growth. Self-confidence: the gym improved body image and confidence. Recognition: people began commenting on his size. Internal drive: competitive personality. As his physique developed rapidly, encouragement from gym peers and local competitors likely pushed him further toward bodybuilding. Later, once he met Marlena, motivation transformed from casual interest into structured ambition. The role of Marlena in his competitive career: professional bodybuilding at the highest level requires precision meal planning, carb cycling, water manipulation, supplement timing, training intensity adjustments, recovery monitoring. Marlena became deeply involved in these processes. Many sources note that she has acted as his coach or CO coach in various phases of his career. Daily life during competition: let's understand what married life looks like during prep season. 1. Strict nutrition during prep. Meals may include 6-7 meals per day, precisely weighed protein portions, measured carbohydrates, controlled sodium. A supportive spouse often prepares meals, measures macros, tracks weight changes, adjusts portions. Marlena has reportedly taken part in overseeing these details. 2. Emotional support during dieting. Contest prep is psychologically brutal. Low body fat can cause mood swings, irritability, fatigue, brain fog, reduced patience. A supportive partner must stay calm during mood fluctuations, provide reassurance, maintain perspective, prevent burnout. Elite bodybuilding is not just physical, it is psychological warfare against hunger and exhaustion. Olympia level pressure. Competing at events like the Mr. Olympia brings global scrutiny, media interviews, financial expectations, fan pressure, national pride. When Samson won the 2024 Olympia title, it was not just his victory. It represented years of sacrifice from both of them. Behind every perfect peak week photo is months of shared effort. How marriage strengthened his career. Marriage can either distract an athlete or stabilize an athlete. In Samson's case, it appears to have provided stability. 1. Structure. Elite bodybuilding requires 8+ hours sleep, no missed meals, no skipped sessions. A disciplined household makes this possible. 2. Accountability. When someone else believes in your potential, quitting becomes harder. 3. Shared vision. They reportedly operate as a team. Instead of bodybuilding being his dream, it became their mission. Financial and logistical support. Professional bodybuilding is expensive. Coaching fees, supplements, travel registration fees, posing coaches, stage attire, espousal planning, and budgeting are crucial. While Samson brings the physique, a stable support system ensures the logistics work smoothly. Public appearances and units at major competitions. Marlena is often seen backstage recording his pump-up sessions, monitoring last-minute adjustments, celebrating victories. These moments highlight emotional investment. The psychology of support in elite sport works in layers. Emotional layer: encouragement after poor placings, strategic layer: adjusting prep plans, physical layer: monitoring weight, conditioning, fullness, social layer: handling external communication. Marlena's involvement spans all layers. Who truly motivated him? Motivation evolved in stages. Stage 1, rugby. Coaches encouraged strength training. Stage 2, gym community noticed exceptional genetics. Stage 3, self-realization wreckage and elite potential. Stage 4, Marlena helped convert potential into championship strategy. In elite sport, raw motivation starts internally, but sustained excellence often requires partnership. Marriage during off-season is different. Higher calories, heavier lifts, focus on growth. Marriage during off-season may include planning future shows, adjusting improvement areas, long-term strategy. Improvement season requires patience. Gains are slow and deliberate. Challenges: they likely faced every elite athlete's marriage faces challenges: travel separation, strict routines, public scrutiny, financial risk, social isolation. Bodybuilding can be isolating because social eating is restricted, alcohol is limited. Late nights or a rear partner must align with that lifestyle. The power of belief. One of the strongest motivational forces in elite sport is belief. When someone sees greatness in you before the world does, that belief can carry you through losses, doubt, fatigue, injury, plateaus. It appears Marlena believed in his Olympia potential long before the title, winning Mr. Olympia a shared triumph. When Samson won the 2024 Olympia. He became the first Nigerian-born Olympia champion, one of the most dominant physiques of the era, but victories at that level are rarely solo achievements. Behind every meal weighed, every cardio session, every wake up, every sacrifice through his partnership, love in high performance. Environment's marriage in bodybuilding requires patience, discipline, emotional maturity. Shared sacrifice, it's not glamorous most of the time, it's repetitive, it's routine. It's structured, and that structure wins championships. What makes their dynamic unique? She understands bodybuilding. She participates actively. She embraces the grind. She shares the spotlight. She remains present during losses and wins. Final reflection: Samson, Dauda's rise from Lagos-born youth to Olympia champion was fueled by genetics, rugby foundation, internal ambition, cultural resilience, strategic partnership, will. Early gym motivation began with sport and self-development. Sustained greatness required something more. It required belief. It required structure. It required partnership, and in his married life, he appears to have found exactly that. The coaching journey of Samson Dauda's success in professional bodybuilding is never accidental. While genetics matter, elite bodybuilding is highly strategic. Training, nutrition, peak week manipulation, posing, supplementation, and recovery all require expert guidance. Samson Dauda did not reach the top of the sport alone. Early gym beginnings, self-driven phase before he had formal coaching. Samson's gym journey began during his rugby years in the United Kingdom. Rugby training introduced him to squats, deadlifts, bench press, explosive strength work, basic periodization. At this stage, his coaches were rugby conditioning trainers rather than bodybuilding specialists. This early foundation built dense leg development, strong posterior chain, explosive power base, structural thickness. Early gains were largely self-driven, guided by athletic programming rather than aesthetic-focused hypertrophy training. Transition to bodybuilding specific coaching. As his physique developed beyond normal athletic standards, it became clear he had exceptional muscle building genetics. At this point, bodybuilding specific coaching became necessary. Elite bodybuilding coaching involves macronutrient periodization, carb cycling, contest prep diet, water and sodium manipulation, strategic peak week protocols, progressive overload tracking, injury prevention. Samson eventually began working with experienced bodybuilding coaches to refine his structure. Role of Marlena Gustowska in coaching. Marlena Gustowska has played a significant role in his development. Unlike many bodybuilding spouses who remain emotionally supportive only, Marlena has been deeply involved in nutrition planning, contest prep decisions, strategy adjustments, monitoring, conditioning, accountability. In many interviews and public appearances, it's evident their partnership is collaborative. In bodybuilding, this level of spousal involvement can be extremely powerful because there is daily oversight, emotional alignment is strong, no communication gaps, long-term planning becomes unified. Professional coaching structure. As he progressed in the IFBB Pro League, Samson required higher-level strategic coaching. Professional bodybuilding coaching usually includes weekly check-ins, progress photos, weight tracking, conditioning analysis, adjustment of cardio levels, supplement timing. While specific coach arrangements have evolved over time, his rise to elite status required structured programming beyond casual training. His coaches focused on 1. Bringing up weak points. Every champion must improve weak areas. For Samson, refinement included back detail, conditioning sharpness, stage presentation, symmetry, balance. 2. Conditioning improved mentally in his career. Some critiques centered on conditioning compared to top-tier Olympia competitors. Coaches helped him dial in peak dryness, skin thinness, water balance. 3. Posing refinement. Elite level posing can change placings dramatically. Professional posing coaches help with transitions, stage presence, quarter turns, classic lines. Facial composure. Competitive milestones. Under coaching, Samson's breakthrough came when he began winning major titles. Notably, Arnold Classic 2023 champion, Mr. Olympia 2024 champion. Winning these events requires near-perfect peak week, strategic carb loading, flawless posing execution, mental control under pressure. That level of precision indicates high-level coaching involvement. Who helped him in the gym? Beyond formal coaches, several categories of people contribute to an elite athlete's gym development. 1. Training partners. Training partners help with forced reps, spotting heavy lifts, motivational intensity, competitive. Push-elite bodybuilders often train with other large athletes to maintain intensity. A strong training partner prevents undertraining, ensures maximal effort, maintains psychological edge. 2. Gym community support. Early in his career, local gym members likely provided encouragement, recognition of potential, competitive suggestions. 1. Gym peers start saying you should compete. That often triggers the transition to stage competition. 3. Family support or private. About extended family, immigrant athletes often carry strong family motivation. Cultural pride can be a powerful force. Being Nigerian-born and rising in a global sport created national pride, cultural representation. Identity-driven motivation. Coaching philosophy that suited him. Samson's physique fits the mass monster with aesthetics category. That requires a coaching balance between size preservation, conditioning refinement, symmetry, balancetto. Much dieting risks muscle loss. Too much bulking risks conditioning softness. His coaching team had to carefully manage off-season growth. Phases. Controlled body fat increases, smart deloads. Injury prevention. Controversy in his career. Light touch bodybuilding is a subjective sport. Controversies often arise from judging decisions, placings, conditioning comparisons. Fan debate. Samson's career has included a few debated outcomes, which is normal at the highest level. 1. Judging debutees in major competitions. Fans often debate whether he deserved certain placings, whether conditioning was better or worse than competitors, whether symmetry outweighed drines. Judging in bodybuilding is not objective like sprint times. It is comparative. As he climbed rankings, some critics argued he needed sharper conditioning. His back detail needed refinement. His midsection needed tighter control. Over time, improvements addressed many of these criticisms. 2. Conditioning. Criticism early on. Before his Olympia win, some critics believed he lacked the extreme dryness of former champions. However, his 2024 Olympia win demonstrated dramatic improvement in conditioning. This silenced many early critiques. 3. PED discussions. General bodybuilding context. In professional open bodybuilding, discussions around performance-enhancing drugs PEDs are common in the sport as a whole. However, Samson has not been publicly sanctioned. There are no official doping controversies attached to his name. Discussions around PED use are general debates about the sport rather than specific proven controversies tied to him. Mental strength. Under scrutiny as his fame increased, so did online criticism. Social media bodybuilding culture includes comparison breakdowns, harsh commentary, armchair judging, physique dissection handling. Criticism requires thick skin, confidence, trust in coaching, long-term focus. Samson's calm demeanor suggests strong psychological support from both coaching and family. Coaching evolution over time. Like bodybuilders often change coaches throughout their careers to bring new perspective, correct weaknesses, break plateau. Suggesting coaching can be controversial among fans, but it is common in elite sport. His evolution suggests openness to feedback, willingness to improve, strategic adaptability. Winning formulas. Coaching ecosystem likely included primary prep coach, posing coach, training partners, nutrition oversight, spousal support, recovery specialist. This combination created a championship system. Arnold Classic victory, strategic perfection. Wing the Arnold Classic requires massive size, elite conditioning, stage confidence. Site proved his coaching direction was working. That win positioned him as a legitimate Olympia threat. Olympia victory. Coaching masterpiece. 2024 Olympia win marked peak conditioning, balanced fullness, controlled midsection, dominant stage. Presenteth that transformation from promising mass monster to refined champion. Reflects excellent coaching execution. Lessons from his coaching journey. Raw genetics needs structure. Structure needs accountability. Accountability requires trust. Trust builds champions. His journey proves that coaching is not just about workout plans. It's about vision, alignment, long-term planning, mental resilience, tactical adjustments. Final analysis. Samson Dauda's gym success was built through early rugby conditioning coaches, bodybuilding specific prep coaches, strategic nutritional planning, spousal Involvement, training partners, continuous improvement interests in his career have been typical of elite bodybuilding, judging debates, conditioning critiques, fan comparisons, but there have been no confirmed scandals or major disciplinary issues attached to his professional record. His rise to the top was a blend of genetic advantage, cultural resilience, intelligent coaching, stable support system, willingness to improve. The competitive wins of Samson Dauda, a detailed breakdown. Samson Dauda's rise through professional bodybuilding was not instant. His wins came through gradual improvement, strategic refinement, and patient development. Each victory marked a different stage in his evolution from promising mass monster to elite champion. 1. Early amateur victories. Pre-IFBB Pro card phase. Before earning his IFBB Pro status, Samson competed in amateur bodybuilding circuits in the United Kingdom. Why these wins mattered: proved he could dominate regional competition, built stage confidence, allowed judges to assess his structural strengths, confirmed elite genetic potential. During this phase, his standout features were massive quads, wide clavicles, dense muscle bellies, thick arms and delts. Even at amateur level, his frame suggested future open bodybuilding dominance. These early wins earned him visibility and ultimately his IFBB Pro card. 2. Earning the IFBB Pro card 2017. Although technically not a pro win, earning a pro card is one of the most significant milestones in a bodybuilder's career. It means you've beaten top amateur competition. You are eligible for professional shows. You can now compete for Olympia qualification. This moment transitioned him from hopeful athlete to professional contender. 3. EVLS Prague Pro breakthrough professional win 2021. EVLS Prague Pro. This competition marked his first major professional breakthrough. Context: before this win, he had competed in several pro shows, but had not yet established himself as a serious Olympia contender. At EVLS Prague Pro, he displayed improved conditioning, fuller muscle bellies, more polished posing, better stage confidence. What judges saw: dominant quad sweep, balanced upper body mass, round delts and thick chest, a commanding front double biceps pose. This victory was crucial because it qualified him for Mr. Olympia. It proved he could win at the pro level. It shifted public perception. After this show, people stopped seeing him as potential and began seeing him as dangerous. 4. Arnold Classic UK establishing European dominance. Arnold Classic UK. The Arnold Classic UK showed he could perform consistently on major stages. Improvements displayed: better midsection control, sharper conditioning, more confidence in transitions, greater overall stage composure. Arnold events are judged strictly on conditioning, symmetry, muscularity, stage presence. His victory here elevated him in global rankings. 5. Arnold Classic USA 2023 career-defining one. Arnold Classic. This was arguably the turning point of his career. Before Olympia, the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio is second only to Mr. Olympia in prestige. Why this win was historic: he defeated elite-level competition. He proved he could peak perfectly. He demonstrated world-class conditioning. Physique highlights: massive leg separation, improved back detail, fuller chest and delts, balanced proportions. The Arnold Classic stage demands size, condition, presentation, confidence. Samson delivered all 4. After this win, many analysts began predicting he could become Mr. Olympia. 6. Mr. Olympia 2024, the ultimate victory. Olympia. Winning Mr. Olympia is the pinnacle of professional bodybuilding. It is not just another competition, it is the ultimate title in the sport. Historical importance: first Nigerian-born Olympia champion, cemented his legacy, ended debates about conditioning, proved long-term development strategy worked. His look on stage at the 2024 Olympia, he displayed peak fullness, elite-level dryness, controlled waist, dominant quads, thick back with detail. Critics who once questioned his conditioning were silenced. Why he won: judges evaluate based on symmetry, muscularity, conditioning, stage presence. Samson's balance of mass and aesthetics gave him the edge. Breakdown of his physique evolution through Winsealy wins: dominated with size. Conditioning was good, but not elite. Relied heavily on structure. Mid-career wins: conditioning improved, back thickness enhanced, midsection tighter. Arnold Classic win: near Olympia level conditioning, balanced proportions, Confidence peaked. Olympia win complete package. No major weaknesses. Perfect peak week execution. Tactical aspects behind each win. Winning major bodybuilding shows requires 1. Perfect peak week carb loading strategy. Sodium manipulation. Water control. Pump timing. 2. Psychological calmness, managing nerves. Ignoring online criticism. Trusting prep process. 3. Strategic timing, choosing correct competitions. Avoiding overcompeting. Peaking at the right moment. Samson's team clearly mastered timing, comparing Arnold versus Olympia. Victories Spectral Classic 2023 Olympia. 2024 Conditioning Excellent Elite Size Massive Slightly Refined Confetti Janagri. Perception Rising Established Champion who his wins are significant. Globally represented African-born athletes at the highest level. Showed that long-term development beats rushing. Proved that size plus aesthetics can coexist. Demonstrated improvement from criticism. How each win built momentum. Amateur wins. Confidence pro card legitimacy. Prague pro breakthrough Arnold. UK regional dominance. Arnold Classic USA global credibility. Mr. Olympia. Immortality in sportic technical improvements. Between wins back developmentally career criticism. Needed more detail. Later wins. Thick-edged back shots. Condition injury shows. Slightly softer look. Later shows. Dry, crisp separation. Midsection improved control and vacuum style discipline. Mental growth reflected in wins. Each win showed. Increased composure. Less visible nervousness. Better posing. Transitions. Calm facial expression. Champions don't just build muscle, they build presence. Legacy of his wins. Winning the Olympia places him in elite company among past champions. It ensures long-term sponsorship, historical recognition, influence on next generation, permanent name in bodybuilding history. Most people misunderstand motivation. They think motivation is feeling excited, watching hype videos, listening to loud music, getting inspired for one day, but real motivation is not emotion. It is commitment. Motivation has two types. 1. Emotional motivation temporary. Triggered by breakups, insults, social media comparison, New Year resolutions. It fades quickly. 2. Structural motivation built from identity, routine, long-term vision, discipline. This lasts. If you rely on emotion, you will quit. If you rely on structure, you will transform. Part 2. Why most people lose gym motivation. Let's be honest. Most gym journeys fail because of unrealistic expectations, comparing to advanced lifters, lack of visible results in 4-6 weeks, overtraining, poor nutrition, no clear goal. Life stress. People expect, I'll train for 30 days and look different. But the body adapts slowly. Fat loss is slow. Muscle gain is slow. Strength gain is gradual. The gym rewards patience. Part 3. Identity is stronger than motivation. The strongest gym motivation is identity. Instead of saying, I want to work out, say, I am someone who trains. When identity changes, behavior follows. If you see yourself as a disciplined person, a strong person, an athlete, a lifter, will act accordingly. Your actions align with your self-image. Part 4. The discipline formula. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Discipline equals doing it when you don't feel like it. There will be days when you are tired, you are stressed, you are unmotivated, you are sore. That is when growth happens. The difference between average and elite is consistency on bad days. Part 5. Setting powerful gym goals. Motivation increases when goals are clear. Week goal, I want to get fit. Strong goals, lose 10 kilograms in 6 months. Bench press 100 kilograms. Train for days per week. Reach 12% body fat. Specific goals create direction. Direction creates purpose. Purpose creates motivation. Part 6. The science of habit formation. Gym success is habit-based, not hype-based. Habits form when cue routine reward. Example, cue after work routine. Go to gym reward endorphins. Progress, confidence. Repeat this enough times and it becomes automatic. You don't decide to brush your teeth. You just do it. Gym should become like that. Part 7. The role of pain and growth. Physical pain in the gym is different from injury. Muscle fatigue equals adaptation. Controlled struggle equals growth. When you push through that last rep, that final set, that heavy squatcher, not just building muscle, you're building mental resilience. The gym trains the mind more than the body. Part 8. motivation during fat loss. Fat loss is emotionally difficult because the scale fluctuates. Water weight confuses progress. Visible change takes time. Here's the truth, fat loss is math. Calories in versus calories out. But motivation during fat loss should focus on energy levels, improved sleep, better mood, looser clothes. Progress is not always visible. Weekly, trust the process. Part 9, motivation during muscle gain. Muscle gain is slower than people expect. Natural muscle gain rate, beginners, 0.5 - 1 kilograms per month. Intermediate, slower. Advanced, very slow. Patience is key. Track, strength increases. Body measurements. Progress photos. Muscle grows quietly before it becomes visible. Part 10, the power of environment. Your environment shapes motivation. If your circle skips workouts, eats junk daily, makes exercise, will struggle. If your circle trains regularly, talks about progress, supports discipline, will thrive. Environment beats willpower. Part 11, social media. Motivation or trap. Social media can inspire, educate, encourage, but it can also create unrealistic comparisons, loud confidence, encourage shortcuts. Remember, you are seeing someone's highlight reel. Focus on your timeline. Part 12, the no 0 days rule. Some days you can't train fully, but do something. 10 push-ups, 15-minute walk, stretching session. Momentum matters more than perfection. Consistency, intensity. Part 13, dealing with gym plateaus happen. Strength stops increasing. Fat loss slows. Muscle growth stalls. Solutions: adjust calories, change rep ranges, add progressive overload, improve sleep, manage stress. Plateaus are signals, not failures. Part 14, morning versus evening. Motivation. Workouts, build discipline, eliminate excuses, start day strong. Governing. Workouts, relieve stress, release tension, improve sleep. Best time, the time you can stay consistent. Part 15, the mental transformation. The gym changes posture, confidence, body language, self-talk. When you look stronger, you feel stronger. When you feel stronger, you act stronger. The transformation is psychological before physical. Part 16, motivation after failure. Reverian misses workouts. The key is not how many times you fall, it's how fast you return. Never miss twice. If you skip one day, do not skip the next. Part 17, the long-term perspective. The gym is not a 3-month project. It is a lifestyle. Think in years, not weeks. In 3 years of consistency, you can completely transform your physique. Part 18, internal versus external motivation. External, compliments, attention, social approval. Internal, self-respect, discipline, personal growth. External fades. Internal lasts. Build internal motivation. Part 19, motivation when you're tired and low energy days. Reduce intensity slightly. Focus on form. Complete minimum sets. Leave ego at home. Showing up is victory. Part 20, the real secret. There is no secret. There is progressive overload, calorie control, protein intake, sleep, consistency, patience. Efforts. The people who look genetically gifted usually just stayed consistent longer. Final words on gym motivation. The gym is not about impressing others. Quick fixes. Temporary transformation. It is about discipline, self-respect, control, growth. One day you will look back and realize the hardest reps built the strongest version of you.